Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Into the Night with Shawn Kelly. I guess everything is a little bit crazy right now, but we're going to see what happens. I'm on a new time, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., and I am on UPRN Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. And a lot of you didn't know what happened last week. Hey, Tony, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. What happened last week was the last show for Chasing Prophecy, um, and you know it was a good run with Chasing. It really was. I just can't thank Jenny Nicosia for allowing me to co-host the show with her. We had a lot of fun, and John Ventry, Michael Anthony. I truly appreciate. I mean, you guys are rock stars. You are. And I borrowed that from Mike Good, but you are because I learned so much from you. Um, it really, for me, didn't realize that there was much more out there than just paranormal, you know. Um, but I learned a lot. I learned about Bigfoot. I learned about ETs. I learned about UFOs. I learned about aliens. All kinds of. Hey, Scott, it's good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. And but it was a great run. I met a lot of good people, a lot of good guests, and now I'm going to do it on my own. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I used to have Into the Night a long time ago, but at one point in time, we switched over doing Chasing Prophecy for 3 hours, and the special segment was into the night, and that was on from 9 to 10. But now I got it all tonight, and and we're going to give it a go, like they say over in England. Give it a go. Um, I just excited about this. You know, prime time. You know. Hey, Freighter, welcome, buddy. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it very much. Look at all the good support. And I will tell you this from Chasing Prophecy. I have good fans that come in and listen to the show, so it's all good. Um, it's going to start off fresh tonight. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to talk about some paranormal. We're going to talk about all kinds of different things. You know, I'm sure we can talk a little bit about UFOs or my personal experiences on investigations, whatever comes up. We're just going to go from there. And eventually, as time goes on, I'm going to be able to, find some guests who would like to come on the show with us, and and we can go at it. But so, how was everybody's week? Um, it's finally becoming summer here in Pittsburgh. All right, it's been real humid the last couple of weeks, and it's crazy. At one point in time, we had at least um, a lot of cold, like in the 60s and 70s, which felt really good. And then all of a sudden, what happened was all this humidity came in, and it just took us by surprise. You know, and so learning how to deal with the heat now, which is crazy. And it's not so much the heat. The heat I can take; it's just the humidity. So if you see me grabbing my towel today, I'm just wiping the sweat off there. I'd like you to, you know, my week was okay. You know, there was a lot of ups and there was a lot of downs, um, a lot of changes, a lot of life changing things for me. And if I seem a little bit nervous tonight, that's one thing about me. I do share about my personal life a lot. So, um, and I don't want no sympathy from nobody. Just would like mine if you would say a couple prayers for me. Because about 3 months ago, what happened was they found like two spots on my lungs. Okay. They found two spots. And they did not know or what was going on with me. So tomorrow I go in for another CT scan to see if they are still there, if it's progressed or not. Um, who knows what's going to happen? But you know what? It's been kind of bothering me a little bit. But my hands, it's out of my hands. So I don't know what I'm going to get. Have I beaten myself up the last week? I sure have, very much so. You know, worried, concerned, stuff like that. But you know what? It's all in Spirit's hands. It's going to happen to me. So that's my week. You know, had a good week at work, doing okay. So please sit back, enjoy the next couple hours, um, and we'll go from there. Okay. Um, so, what I want to talk about tonight, there's about 4 or 5 different things I like to talk about tonight. And the first thing I want to know, do you know whenever you break up with somebody, you break up with your wife, or you break up with your girlfriend, and all kinds of stuff like that, you know? And you're just like, I'm finally over her. I don't want nothing to do with her. And all of a sudden, you get signs of your ex thinking about you. Now, it could be your ex, it could be somebody that you had a close relationship with, but you get these signs. And at one point in time, um, the signs would just pop up everywhere. I remember my last girlfriend, she had a silver car, and after we broke up, I kept seeing the exact same cars that she had, and I'm thinking, why are you doing this to me? Why are you showing me this stuff? Is there a secret behind this? Is there a reason? Is there a lesson for this? Why are you showing me stuff that me and my ex girlfriend, used to do together? Why the same songs, especially songs? It's crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody ever experiences that out there, but it's true. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Hey, is this spirit trying to tell me something? Is it? Hey, Gary, welcome, buddy. Hello, Shawn. Gary from Maryland here. Did you see my ghost pictures I captured when I was in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago? Yes, I did, sir. Yes, I did. And I was really, really impressed with them. Really impressed. Thank you for sharing them. And thank you for being here on the show tonight. Um, so it's crazy that why are you doing this to me? And at the same time that all these signs are happening to me, it's like, why? I don't want to deal with this no more. You know, she made her bed, I made my bed, we slept in it. We're no longer together, but you give me signs that she's still here. And I'm like, so I kind of had to look it up. All right. And I looked it up over the week, and I marked some stuff down that I wanted to share with you tonight, what the experts say. Okay. Is this a sign that your ex is thinking of you? Okay. The first one is items of your ex keep showing up. And it's so true. You're welcome, Gary. But it's so true. Okay. Like I told you about her car. Um, and she wore this perfume, and it was really crazy. I don't know if any investigators have gone out on an investigation and actually smelled perfume of spirits. Okay, now there's only a couple of y'all, and usually a couple of guys, and I know in my group you weren't allowed to wear any type of cologne or perfume, because it would like mess up the investigation a tad. But I'd be standing around or I'd be out somewhere and all of a sudden I would smell her perfume. Okay. And I'm like, no, I seriously had to like look around and see if she was actually here. We did a lot of trips to Gettysburg. Um, and when I was in Gettysburg a couple of times, I would smell her perfume. And I'm thinking, okay, Lord, listen, it's been about 3 months now. Kind of, like I had enough of this. I had enough. Scotsman, you still doing your radio show in Mississippi? I can't find it. Yes, sir, I am Squats. It's on UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 in Mississippi. Um, oh, I'm sorry, 107.7 in Mississippi. And Spiritual Stalker. Ah, thanks, Frater. If you go, Squats, if you go to the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page, there's a link there to which you can get it. Ah, you're welcome, buddy. But all I know is that I'm like, please, just give me some peace. I can't deal with this, And at that time, like me, I'll be honest with you, my brain goes from like 1 to 60 in like one half of a second. I start thinking, I start analyzing, and I'm like, what is he thinking about? What is he doing? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, okay, stop. Please stop. And I'm like, and it just continues. So everybody out there who is listening and in the chat room, please tell me, have you ever experienced something like this before? Um, please tell me. But you know what? That's one of the things. The second one is sudden hiccups. And I'm not talking about your like that, stuff like that. Sudden hiccups. Many people believe your ex is thinking of you. Give them a call and maybe your hiccups will go away. Um, I never experienced hiccups, but there have been a couple times where I did have to give her a call and tell her, "Listen, what's your story?" And and me and her would have a fight or a disagreement on it. And I said, she goes like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Listen, you know, are you thinking of me or something? Because stuff is happening, and it all has to pertain to you." So maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. She wouldn't admit to it, but you know what? That's okay. You know. But in my mind, in the back of my mind, I really truly believe that yes, she was thinking of me at the time. And then my mind's going crazy. I said, well, if you don't like me that much, then why in the hell are you thinking of me? you know. Oh, another thing for me was my ears would burn, especially the right ear. When people talk about me, my ear burns, and it's not her, and I mean it's people who I am close to, who I know, um, who start talking about me, and my ear burns. I don't know. Has anybody ever experienced that here? Gary, when we have family, this is from Gary. Uh, when we have family reunions, we all can smell honeysuckle. We know our grandmother is with us. Hold on, get that up here. When we have family reunions, we all can smell honeysuckle. We know our grandmother is with us. She grew honeysuckle in her yard and we all loved it. She was Jonas Salk's nurse. Oh, wow. Really? That's pretty good. Interesting. Pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that, Gary. Appreciate that. But here's another thing. Number three, profound dreams. If the X is popping up in dreams, she or he is thinking of you. If you have, if you're sad or angry, it might be a sign to move on. So true, you know. I have had dreams, but not irrelevant to her. Um, you know, I guess I kind of like put that block up. Freider understands, you know. I mean, you got spirit guides that help you out. You got animal totems that help you out. So a lot of times when I'm in my dream state, or I'm dreaming, I am well protected, so my dreams don't become, you know, to craziness. Um, Number four, some things feel off after the breakup and things aren't right. You could be feeding off your ex's energy when they aren't around. But that's with everybody. It's not so much with your ex. That's with everybody. Friends, family, neighbors, close friends, definitely. You know, brothers, sisters, and it's like a crazy world out there. I want to talk about that pertains to this too. Is because all kinds of stuff is happening out there in this world, and there's a lot of negative energy out there. Yes, and people feed the negativity feeds off of people, and right now in today's world, it is so strong with all the hatred going on out there, all the killings going on out there, everything, government, whatever's going out there, there's so much energy. Now think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, um, my friend, she taught me one time, you know, and she said to me, she said, when there's a lot of stuff happening on in the world, okay, um, a lot of people unleash a lot of negativity. They unleash a lot of hurt. They unleash a lot of negative, all kinds of bad feelings. And so what happens is, whenever people start releasing all that negative out there in the universe, the spirits out there are like feeding off that stuff. You know what I mean? And and that's what happens. And I do believe, I have no doubt in my mind. I mean, you can call this stuff going on today due to the vax or whatever, right? But okay, I believe it's something more spiritual than that is happening. Sure, the media does put things, and tells us all the bad that's happening out there, and it's just getting people angry, and it's just making a lot of negativity, and a lot of people are just getting pounced on. And that's why our world today, this our Earth. I'm not just talking the states. I'm talking Europe, Asia, uh, South Africa. All these people. There's just so much hurt and pain and anger that, I mean, instead of seeing white clouds up in the sky, all you actually see are real is a real dark fog. And in that dark fog is where all the, you know, I hate to say the word demons, okay? Uh, and that's just me. Demons do exist. And but there's also a lot of angry spirits out there that just feed off this negativity, and it gets them stronger, stronger, and stronger. And wherever you're at, if you have an angry spirit hanging around you or hanging in your house, right? I'm telling you, that's the reason. You know, um, a lot of people, like, I hear light workers, okay, people who go and supposed to fight the negativity, who are supposed to fight the demons and stuff like that. And right now, it's just overpowering. You know, it's the negativity is just overpowering. Um, but we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, I know down the road all hell's going to break loose again, and we'll see how it happens. If I could give you a little bit of a suggestion, not, I mean, you can take it, you cannot, but whoever you are close with, if it's God, if it's spirit, if it's Buddha, if it's whoever you believe in, stick to that. Okay, just stick to it, and hopefully it will get you through all this negativity that's going on. Um, five. and like number 5, music in there. And like I talked about it earlier, there was a lot of times that our song would come on the radio. Okay. And it was so true, especially the one, and it just seemed like the one song that came on all the time are the ones that, we met on. So everybody out there it says that there are signs, but what's actually causing them signs? Hmm? Anybody have any suggestions out there that could tell? My friend Frater Crow said a spiritual stalker. Um, Never really heard about what a spiritual stalker is, but maybe, because you see a lot of things happening to where, and I've experienced this a lot on investigations, to where uh, ghosts mimic um, other things, you know. And in fact, some lady called me the other day, and her friend had an experience out there in Prospect. That's why I need to get a hold of you, Fraser. We've got to talk about that. And she has a spirit out there outside her house, not inside the house, but outside the house. And it's mimicking her husband's voice. So, that's something that we got to talk about. But they do mimic. We were on investigation out in Monroeville. Okay. And it was really crazy. I got to set the story for you on this one. So we went out to Monroeville. This guy's secretary gave us a call, or gave me a call, and said that her boss had not an accident, but an incident in his house, and he would like you guys to come out. So, long story short, me and my girlfriend, we at the time, we went out to the house, and usually before we actually do an investigation, what we do is what you call a walkthrough. So her and I would go out in the middle of the week, and we'll do a walkabout. Bring a couple equipments with us and stuff like that. And so we went out there, right, and we did the little walkthrough. And what was crazy? Here's the craziest thing about it, right? So we're standing in, talking. What's Gary say? Gary says 2 great buildings to ghost hunt in your backdrop: UPMC and US Steel. Oh yeah, that, there's a lot of UPMCs up here, Gary. US Steel build. I don't know. It just seems like all steel mills are closed down. But I will get to this to a deal about the steel mills. But what happened was, so we're standing there talking, and the wife had a glass of wine in her hand. And this is the truth. And all of a sudden, it got smacked out of her hand and broke all over the floor. And I saw it with my own eyes. And no, she didn't, manipulate it, to get out of her hands and break. But here's the deal about this investigation. It was crazy. So his wife is a nurse, and she was at work. And I think he's a doctor too. I'm not very sure. But what happened was, as he was pulling out onto Monroeville Boulevard, okay, he got a call from inside his house. Now, granted, no one was in the house at the time, but he got this call, and since he was driving, he didn't answer it. It was like really bugging him out, confusing, and so he went into work. It actually left a message, and on that message it said, and this is true, kill the nurse, is what it said. Kill the nurse. And he said he turned white as a ghost, and that's why he gave us a call. So when we did that walkthrough, I was talking to him after the walkthrough, and then, my girlfriend was in the car, and she came screaming out of that door, screaming out of the car. You got to hear this. You got to hear this. You got to hear this. And we're like, okay, let's hear it. And so she played it because she was taking EVPs through this whole walkthrough. And what was crazy was that she played it, and Doreen said, "How old are you?" And the response was 93. It's clear as day. And then our client, he just had this, he just turned like white, gray, all kinds of shades. It was really, really, yeah, I mean, he was literally in tears. And we asked him, like, we go, are you okay? What's going on? And he looked pale, and he told us that was his father's voice. His father died at the age of 93, and his father hated his wife. So that was like, wow. It was cool, for us, not for him, but for us. So that Saturday, we went, set the cameras up, went out, did our investigation. But here was the creepy part about that investigation, and is that, there was a cross up on the second floor on the wall up there. Okay, and and the way that cross was sitting, or on the wall, was the nail was downward, like this. Okay, and then they set the cross on top of the nail, so it wouldn't fall off. Or it was up one or the other. I forget what it was. But as we're walking up the steps, that cross fell off that wall, and it landed up. It didn't land up like that. It landed down. It landed like, the Jesus that was on the cross. He was facing the floor. Now that was creepy as hell. That really was creepy. But we did our thing, and we had that investigation. Got a lot of good stuff, and we kind of said some prayers and do what we do, in order to clear out the ghost. And ever since then, everything's been okay. But yeah, with mimicking, um, at the same house. To be honest with you, the same house as Doreen was taking, um, EVP recordings. There was a perfect example. It was perfect at her voice, but it wasn't her speaking. So that was really crazy, you know. Um, but I just had to share that with you, to keep the stories going and stuff like that. Um, but back to, is your son, your ex, or anybody thinking of you? From my experience, yes, I do believe that, especially when it comes down to your ex. But if it was to other people, okay, then there will be situations like you did something when you guys are friends and stuff like that. So yes, it does happen. But my question is it a lesson for us to learn? Is it a lesson for us to, like, let go? Who knows? But I was so caught up into it for about 3 years, and it wasn't fun. And what it did was it gave me ulcers. Okay, and it just kept my mind spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. I'd go to psychics, I'd go and talk to my friends, I would go to people who knew her because it was driving me crazy. But you know what? After all said and done with this situation, never got an answer. So maybe that was it. wasn't going to get an answer. So maybe the big guy upstairs was like, driving me a little crazy there for a minute. But but that's what, to me, um, when somebody's thinking of you, you can actually feel it. You can actually see it. And with you having such a great, you know, energy and relation, you're going to continue feeling it. Now that was like what 7, 8 years ago, and every now and then, okay, um, I can pick up on her feelings, you know, and I know it's hard, and I just kind of say, oh hi, not I don't call her nothing. I just mental telepathy her. I'm like, oh hi, how are you? But to Gary's story, okay, U.S. Steel. Now, Pittsburgh was like the home of the steel mills, okay, totally. And there was a steel mill that ran back. It was in Homestead. I really don't know what the years were, um, but they had the union steel workers had a fight with the security company that was protecting, that worked for the company. And there was a big major fight there, and 3 or 4 people died. Okay. And so, but this, in the steel mill, it was still going. Okay. I don't know when they closed it down, but um, I know for a fact that a lot of people did die. Okay. In steel mills, take a slip and then they would fall into the molten lava or stuff like that. Gary says my great grandfather worked in the coal mine in Homestead. Oh wow, oh wow, that's another tough job. We had a guest a couple weeks ago and he has a book called Hoodoo, something Hoodoo, and I know, I'm sorry. And when the book comes to me, I will say it. Um, Maxim Pyrrhic is the author. Coal Valley Hoodoo is what it's called, and you got to go get the book because it's very very interesting, and he has a lot of ghost stories out there. But here's what later on, they tore down the steel mill in Homestead, okay, and they put like grocery stores, they put all kinds of clothing stores, all kinds of restaurants down there. And so one night I decided to go out to eat down there, and it was about 10 o'clock at night, and I walked the path that the steel mill was built at. It's a walking path right down there, and honest to Pete, honest to goodness, there were actually shadow figures walking up and down that path, you know, and I have no doubt in my mind that they were the steel workers that that got killed there when that mill was open. Now there's another thing. Over Homestead's very very haunted. You might want to look it up. You have the Carnegie Library over in Homestead, and I investigated it a couple times. And my bud Drake Bowman of the Oakmont Paranormal Society, he does investigations out there too. But Andrew Carnegie came in and he actually built a library there that had a swimming pool, and I do believe it had a gym. So when that riot went on down there in Homestead, you know, um, for some reason the ghost went up into Carnegie's library, and it's very very haunted, extreme, down by the pool, in the big, um, I don't know, not the orchestra seat, but stuff like that. Gary says, I've got to go in a bit, Shawn. I met and hung out with an author of ghost hunting books, Ed Kellerman. He's my cousin's wife's sister, husband, father. Well, good writer, though. Ed Kellerman's a real good writer. Real good writer. Thank you for stopping in, Gary. Appreciate it. See you next week. But it was very haunting. So there is just like so much tragedy that was going on here in Pittsburgh, with the steel mills, with the riverboats. Thank you, bud. See you next week. That Pittsburgh is extremely haunted. And I guess I'm in the right city if you want to be a paranormal investigator, because that's the place to go to. Um, so, like anybody else out there who is listening to the show, or whoever's in the chat room, feel free to type something in and tell me about your experience, at an investigation that you're on. I would appreciate it. Um, so, um, so we talked about, how you break up with your ex-girlfriend, and then all of a sudden, right, you come into the grief, okay, the grief part of it. And there are 5 stages of grief. And you can actually, put this, um, when a person dies, anything sad that has happened to you that you just feel really sad about. So these are the 5 stages of grief. All right. The first one's denial. Okay. You're denying yourself that whatever happened, either somebody passing away or somebody else, a breakup or whatever, you denying it. It's not supposed to happen. It ain't going to happen. And that's true. Because there was a couple of times that I was in a ton of denial and I didn't want to hear it. And I'm like, no, this isn't happening. But, you know, eventually it does. And there you have to deal with that grief. But at the time, I didn't want to deal with the grief because I just did not believe in everything that happened. Anger is the second stage. Why'd this happen? And then when you get angry, after you're in denial, you get angry and you take it off on everybody around you. You get angry at your family, you get angry at your friends, you get angry at her, and then crazy thoughts go through your head like, "Hey, what am I going to do here? This isn't right. It's not supposed to happen." You know, especially when a loved one um, dies. And I can share this story with you. My father passed away 30 some years ago, and of course, I was in denial, but I was very angry. I was angry at my dad. I was angry at God. I was angry at the world. Okay. And I was angry for a very, very long time. A long time. So it's like, and I'm still angry to this day. And I know I keep saying, let it go, Shawn, let it go, let it go. But I just can't. Sometimes I can't. And the last month or two, I've been extremely angry. And then when I get angry, I get really depressed and I get stupid. But the 5 stages of grief. Number 3 is bargaining. Make this not happen. Of course, I bargain all the time. I'm one of the best bargainers that you can see. But you know what? It just doesn't work out that way. It doesn't. You can't bargain anybody. You can try. You could say, well, if you hang on for another month or two, maybe we can do this and maybe we can work it out this way. But you know what? It just doesn't work. And you keep bargaining. Along with your anger, you get the barking. And it's crazy. It's a crazy cycle because whoever's part of these 5 stages of grief, I'm telling you what, they're right on about it. Um, Fourth is depression. And yeah, it just, and the depression part, after you go through the denial, the anger, the bargaining, and then you get to depression. And I'm like the number one dude about depression. And it's true. You can't eat, you can't sleep, you quit taking care of yourself. You really don't give a crap what's happening in your world today. You just don't care, you know. And and then it's crazy. It's funny because I will be getting to this later on the show, but they give you medicines for depression, and you know what? It didn't work for me. It didn't. But that's for further on down for close into the second hour of the show. Um, and then the fifth, stage of grief is acceptance. Yes, accepting the fact that it's all gone and it's not coming back. So I learned something in AA. The very first prayer I learned, Alcoholics Anonymous, was, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that was drilled into me. Drilled. Drilled. And I made, as it was being drilled into my brain, I kept saying it over and over and over. Except the things I cannot change. I can't change what happened with Jason Prophecy, what happened with me at my old job. I can't change it. But I need to be calm and cool about it. I have to accept it. So God gave us the gift of pain so that we can react when something goes wrong. Let me repeat that. This is interesting. God gave us the gift of pain so that we can react when something goes wrong. What's he saying there? What's he saying there? God wants us to be in pain? Or whoever you believe in wants us to be in pain? I don't think so. I was always taught that everything was good. And I guess it's true if you want to put it that way. Okay. Giving us pain. And you know what? If you really, really look at it, can you imagine everybody out there? Think about it, right? If you didn't have hurt, if you didn't have heartache, if you didn't have anger, if you didn't have any of those bad feelings that you have, what would this world be like? Think about it. We'd be walking around just like a bunch of zombies and could not feel no pain, could not feel no hurt, could not feel it. Because from what I understand, is in order for you to grow, you have to, I guess, absorb the pain and walk through that pain to get to where you need to be when you're walking on your path. And a lot of people, what they try to do, and you know what? I'm the very first, I'll admit it. I will admit it that I've done this. Okay. What I would do is I would try to walk around the pain so I didn't have to feel it. But it kind of like took forever to get through it, and it never did help me. Never did. But you know what? Today I can walk through with it. And I just look up and say, you know what? It's in your hands now today because I can't deal with it. And it helps and it works a lot of times. He does listen. He really, really does. And so does my guardian angels, and so do my animal totems. But, okay. And now we got signs sent to us from our loved ones who have passed. And this is pretty interesting. Okay. But before I go on to that, what I want to say is whoever is really having a hard time dealing with grief, please go out and reach somebody, talk to somebody, do what you need to do, but try to stay out of the grief. If you're in the grief, maybe for a little bit, but it's not really a good place to be. And that's just from my perspective on that. So I was looking up another thing, and to be honest, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Since this was the first show, I went back and I got my notes that I had from shows about over a year ago, and so I'm just putting on a little thing here, um, of past shows, just to make the 2 hours get more comfortable with it. But before I go on, I want to know. Um, if you have any comments or if you have anything that you would like to hear on this show, please send me a message at the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society message place. Okay? If you want, send a message and tell me what you think of the show. Tell me what you want to hear on the show. And if you want to be part of the show, tell me. Okay? Tell me that you want to be on the show, and I will put you on the show. And we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Okay. I really mean that. And if you have a company out there and you want to do a little advertising, that would, we can do that for you. I mean, I'm so used to saying the we, but I can do that for you. I can, just all you have to do, I'm not giving out my phone number because there's a lot of crazy people out there. So the best way to get a hold of me, here, I'll post it. This is my email. If you want to send me an email. There it is. My email is riverbird12@gmail.com. So if you have any comments, if you have any complaints, if there's anything that you want to tell me, there it is, riverbird12@gmail.com. I do believe you can also email UPRN Talk Radio and, send them an email and say something. But that is my email address, riverbird12@gmail.com. So if you want anything said, done, advertised, whatever you want, send me an email, and then I will definitely get back to you on that. So that's what I have to say. I'm going to take a real quick drink of iced tea here, and it is unsweetened because it is awful hot. But so we went through the signs, the stages of grief. We also, went through the sign of your ex being around. Now, what I want to do now is signs sent to us from our loved ones who have passed. The first one is they came through as an animal. They can come through as their favorite bird, dog, cat, etc., etc. And Cardinals is a big one. Okay, I like to deal if you see a lot of cardinals, and there's a lot of people out there that are trying to communicate with you that are in the past, who have passed away on this earth. Um, I heard this a long time ago, and as I explored to the metaphysical field for all my years, everybody kept coming back and talking about the cardinal, and then I have experienced that too myself is with the cardinal. Um, and come to find out that yeah, my father was trying to get hold of me, but neither said or done. But um, do you like had a pet and like a pet dog or cat, and it has passed away? Okay, um, and then all of a sudden you get a new puppy, okay, or else you get a new dog. Um, I mean, it could be a purebred, or it could be something from, where they hold dogs that will, you can adopt dogs, you know. And so you bring one in, and all of a sudden, right, all of a sudden, this dog is acting like your old dog, and you're thinking, what's going on here? It's true. I truly believe that dogs, cats, animals have spirits. They're spirits when they pass. So a lot of people will get a dog, and they will see that the dog that they get are doing the same routine as their dog who was alive. And I've gone to many investigations to where people would tell me that their dog is acting this way. And then there's other times too, whenever you're sitting down in your room and you're watching TV, and all of a sudden you feel something brush up against your leg, or something that leans into you, but nothing's there. Okay. No, I have no doubt in my mind that, yeah, okay, um, that is a dog spirit or a cat spirit, one or the other. Or else you can, like for cats, and a lot of people have told me this too, is that the cats would just like walk across their face, and they're like, okay, and they would freak out and give me a call and tell me this is what's happening. And then the first question out of my mouth is, hey, listen, did you have a cat? And they would say yes, and I'll be like, okay. Did it ever cross your face or walk around your face? And they said, yeah. I said, well, that's your cat. I'll keep saying it. Um, Cats and animals, right? Cats and animals, uh, they do have spirits. They do, and they like to hang around too. So that was the first time that a loved one has passed. Two, fragrances, perfume your mom and grandma used, coffee or smoke and smell. Now I have I have some stuff to tell you about this. Okay. Earlier in the show, I was talking about how being on an investigation at a house, and all of a sudden we'd be sitting in a room, and you would smell the granny perfume I call Jean de Tay. I think what it was called back then, and it is crazy because the client would say, "Oh my God, my grandmother used to wear that type of cologne or perfume." I'm like, "Oh, your grandma's in this room," and it just wasn't no likely smell. It was a very strong perfumey smell, and it always smelled like Jean de Tay. So I know for a fact that it had to be a granny perfume because I've done a lot of houses where that Jean de Tay was at all the time. And what happened was, I know those are different old lady spirits. Um, the smoking um, and the coffee. So I'm sitting downstairs in the living room, and my mom's there, and all of a sudden she smells food. then I smell cigarettes and I smell coffee. Well, we don't really know what the food smell is all about. We do have neighbors that do cook out at 11 o'clock at night. But when it comes down to the coffee, when it comes down to the smoke smell, the cigarette smoke, I know it's my father because where I sit in the living room is actually where he would sit, you know. And it don't come often, okay, the cigarette smell or the coffee smell. It don't come often, but every now and then, I guess when I'm not doing pretty good, then or something has happened, and or he just wants to stop by and say hello. Um, he'll light up a cigarette, and it's just not in the living room. I would be driving in my truck, and I would smell the cigarettes. I don't smoke. I just vape like Juul, so that doesn't give a smoke smell. And I really don't allow people to smoke in my truck. You know, I I just can't deal with the smell. And hearing that from me, think about it, right? I smoked like a fiend for so many years, and when I quit smoking, I could actually understand why people would stay away from me due to the cigarette smell. It stinks. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But back to the fragrances. Okay, we did an investigation up in God, New Kensington, and we were at the house, and then again we're in the living room doing an investigation, and all of a sudden he smelled this pipe tobacco, and you smell coffee. And our client at the time, she was in there with us, and she smelled that pipe tobacco, and she was like totally in tears. And we tried to console her, but she was really bawling her eyes out. You know what I mean? And we asked her what's going on, and she said that was my grandpap's type of pipe tobacco. And then, we kind of like looked at her and said, well, that usually happens. And I said, is this the first time that it has ever happened? She said, no, it happens all the time. And basically, all I had to say, told her, and it's true, is that, you know, whenever you think about somebody who has passed away and they're hanging around, they're going to make sure they'll do anything they can in order to tell you or show you that they are there. And it's true. And I do believe, her grandpa was trying to say, hey, I'm okay. Okay, number three, feathers, coins, or something they had that you would recognize in your path. So your dad collected silver dimes or silver quarters, or your mom would always try to find a feather, pick up a lot of bird feathers, let it be a raven one, a crow, um, a little wren, but that she enjoyed doing that. And you knew what kind of feathers that she liked. So whenever they drop something, maybe they don't know how to do the smell bit, like the Jean Nate and the coffee and the cigarettes, tobacco or cigars, but maybe they leave other little signs that is like only remembrance that only you and your grandma or grandfather or mom and dad, okay, would know. For my dad, okay, my experience with my dad was absolutely the cigarette smoke, and we also like to go down to the meadows. It's a horse race casino here in Washington, PA. But before it became a casino, it was just, horse racing. And he would always flip me $1 to go get something to drink. And I'd be down there, you know, watching the horse races, and I'd look down and I'd see a dollar bill laying in front of me. And I'm like, oh wow. Couldn't figure out, and then I realized that what my father did, you know. Um, so little different objects, stuff like that. It kind of like goes with it, okay? Goes with the, signs. Of course, the songs at the right time when you least expect it. My dad's favorite song was the parting glass. That was sung by the Clancy brothers, and every now and then I'll hear it on the radio, and it's crazy because I don't. The only time I really want to listen to it is I go on YouTube and check it out. But when it comes down to that song, when I heard it on the radio, then it kind of changed my mind. And fifth is dreams. Is the easiest way to get in touch with you. Now, when I remember one time, and it happened like 3 days in a row. I was in a dream, and I actually had an out of body, I do believe, when it happened. And I saw my dad sitting at the dining room table here at the house. And I went over to him, and he had his hands and his head into his hand. And he was sad. I said, Dad, are you okay? Do you want a cup of coffee or something like that? It was so real, ladies and gentlemen, so real that he was there at the house. And I mean, him walking out of the bedroom where he used to sleep and sitting at the dining room table. But it was like a Solomon full body view, full body. But everything was in black and white. And my experiences for out of body experiences were whenever I'd go out, everything would be black and white. But going on, I mean, is it a dream when you go out of your body, or is it the real thing? I don't know. If you have an answer for me, I'd really surely appreciate it. But a little bit out of the body here. Um, okay. Um, there's a couple more, but I want to talk about a little bit about the out of body stuff. I remember one time when me and my wife separated, I was staying in an apartment building, and I had my son over, and we laid out, the sleeping bag for him with a couple pillows, and I was laying in bed. All of a sudden, I got out. I had an out of body, and I was sitting at the bottom. I was sitting on the side of my bed, and my son had an out of body because I saw him come up and give me a hug. But I also saw his body laying down there on the sleeping bag. And after he went, it was really crazy because I actually saw him go into the sleeping bag. I mean, into his body. And then I went into mine. But to experience that to where I had the out of body and my son had the out of body together at the same time, that was insane. It was crazy. But I guess it had the meant to be. And you know what? I was okay with it. Um, it felt kind of cool. It was pretty neat. I got a long one here I got to read. Uh, Number six, of your loved ones, they show you signs. They show numbers in weird places. It says they're going to. Oh, okay. I was just, yeah. Again, showing numbers. Okay, so everyone decided to leave the place, leave the leave this show, but that's okay. I'll get more people in. But me and my dad like to go gamble a lot, so instead of going down the meadows, we used to go to Wheeling a lot. And what we would do is go down, and when we get off the exit through the tunnel in Wheeling, um, we'd look at the license plate, and the last three numbers on the license plate, we would play that for 13 races. We won a couple of times, stuff like that. But with me going down there by myself, a lot of times I wouldn't even look at the numbers. And it was really crazy because it was like my dad slapped me upside the head and he said, "Will you look?" He really did. It felt like I got hit. As we went off to the exit, and so I played the numbers and I won a couple races, you know. Uh, Now this one I have a little bit. It's kind of crazy. Okay, they play spots in our heads. They play spots in our heads. Okay, so whenever you hear that little voice in the back of your head, okay, it is not your subconscious, and it is actually a spirit or whoever is talking to you. And I will take that to the grave with me. Okay, and it's true. It's not your subconscious talking to you. It is a spirit talking to you. But they place thoughts in our head. And I'd say, listen to your words when you hear it in the back of your head. For it's not you thinking the words, it's more than likely your family member or somebody else is talking to you. It's not your subconscious mind. If you really want to communicate with somebody who has passed, you just sit in a quiet room and clear your head. And whenever you feel or hear, words in your head, in the back of your head, that is a spirit talking to you. And it's okay to answer them too, because they do understand what's going on. They do understand that stuff. In conclusion, they are alive, but in spirit. See, our body is just a shell, and it's true. Our bodies are shells. Okay, our spirit lives within our shell. So when we die, right, our shell dies, but our spirit moves on. And always remember, okay, always remember, um, they hang around. They hang around to make sure you're okay. That you're okay with them being gone. I like to throw this little example up. The situation to where you have a husband and wife that have been married for like 60 years and they did everything together. They went on vacations. I mean, they were inseparable until one day that, her husband passes away. And this woman, the wife is like really depressed, crying her eyes out, stuff like that. And it's like, do you honestly think that that guy, right, her husband, would actually leave her in that state of mind? No, he wouldn't. And he would be here until she was okay with him being gone. That's how it works. Okay. Um, just if you're ever in that situation, just whoa, what happened? Whoa, what happened? I lost something. Holy crap! I'm still alive. Anybody see that happen? Holy shit! That was crazy. That was crazy. I don't know what happened there, but oh well, I'm still back. I'm still alive. So you're still with me. That's pretty cool. You know, maybe what happened was that Spirit was trying to tell me to shut up. And fun. Okay. So tonight we all talked about signs, okay, from your loved ones, from your deceased relatives, and and they're going to, um, and there's going to be a lot of times that this is going to, okay, a lot of times. It's just how you deal with it. Please, whatever you do not get scared. Do not go crazy. Do not just accept it for what is happening. And just, like, okay, hey, I know you're here, Dad. So let's let it go. Let's let it go. Right. And and just let it go. Everything is going to be okay, everybody. I just want you to tell that. I just needed, I don't know, for some reason, I'm telling you that everything is going to be okay. You know, everything will be okay. Okay, so I'm not getting, nothing, no bad messages yet, so I must be on the right path. There's one more thing that I want to talk to you about is reincarnation. Trust me, the show's over at 10 o'clock tonight, so we'll be talking about other different stuff too. But reincarnation, that was a good show that I had, so I figured I would just bring it back. It's the reincarnation is the rebirth of a soul in a new body. How many out there today listening to this show tonight wants to be reincarnated? If you want to be reincarnated, who would you come back as? What would you want to come back as? I don't know. I keep thinking that I'm going to come back as a wolf. I'm not sure. I don't know. But here's a couple things. It says, how do you know if you're reincarnated? Similar gestures, example, body language, laugh, physical expressions, personality traits, many carry over distinct qualities of the late person. Basically, what it's saying is if you meet somebody that used to act and do everything that your wife did, and you met this new person, definitely, according to these people, that the wife actually probably reincarnated to this other person. Um, is karma part of reincarnation? It cycles birth and death, linking an individual to past and future existence. Craziness, huh? I'll tell you what I think about karma. She exists. She really does exist. And at one point in time a lot of times in my life, I've actually felt her presence. It ain't good. And I can guarantee it, she is out there looking for people to throw her vengeance on. Karma's for real, everybody. It is for real. And she will rear her ugly head to get, Denise, no reincarnation, please. Life is hard. But one of my favorite movies is Defending Your Life, a romantic comedy about being judged when you die or to go back and move on. Thank you for sharing that, Denise. It's good to see you here, hon. Thank you for stepping in onto the show. No reincarnation. No, I don't think I want to be reincarnated too either. Um, I might have said, but if I do want to come back reincarnated, I'd rather come back as, like a wolf or something like that, out in the forest and stuff, not nothing in the city. I couldn't do that. But I'm going to have to check out that movie that you were talking about, the comedy, Defending Your Life. Huh. A romantic calling. I have to check that out. Now, is reincarnation fake? Do you have a choice to reincarnate or not? Okay. To me, these are the questions that I wrote down. Is reincarnation fake? No, it's not fake. I believe it's not fake. I don't know what you all believe, but to me, it's not. It's definitely not fake at all. Do you have a choice to reincarnate or not? Yes, you do. And I found out this, let me see, it's crazy because, and this is true, you can actually say, I don't know how it works, but before you die, you say, I want to be reincarnated. I don't know who or what, but if you do want to reincarnate and you know you're going to die, then you can be reincarnated. It's all confusing. It's all craziness to me about reincarnation, but I know it's for real. Can you make the decision before you die to be reincarnated? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Absolutely. I read on it. I taught, I read, I saw a couple YouTube shows on it. And yeah, people do want to come back reincarnated. I guess they figure, and it's funny because, the majority, the main reason why they want to come back to see if their life would be better, if things would go better for them. But just like Denise, I don't think I could do it. Not as a human. No. Maybe I'd just like to, Denise, personally, I'd like to sit on the cloud, sit down, look at Earth, and see what the hell's happening. See if I could actually give a hand and help out somebody or not. I don't know. But no, I just couldn't do it. The Inuits, the Indians up in Alaska, believe that souls reincarnate within the same family. New babies born in the tribe are believed to be reincarnated from a family member who recently passed. Huh, that's interesting. You know, that's totally interesting. And it could be, it's their beliefs. It's their beliefs. It's what they believe in. And I'm sure if you look at all the other Native American tribes out there, I'm sure that they have their own belief systems on something like that. Um, just to keep you updated, this is my first show into the night. Chasing Prophecy is no longer around. The last show was last week. Again, I want to thank Jenny Nicasio, John Ventry, and Michael Anthony, for giving me some, by just watching them work and how they research and stuff like that. I've learned a lot from them. And so I'm just pertaining it now to my show into the night, and we'll see how it goes. I am, and I will be on UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 New Orleans. I'm at Mississippi. And also come to find out, and I keep forgetting to tell you guys, that I'm on Roku, ROKU. We're on Roku. I don't know how to get there yet, but I know I'm on there. I've seen stuff of mine, but, through television. Not mine, but so I don't have a Roku station. But other people I know do, and they send me snippets. Denise said, that's cool, wanting to help. I do, Denise. I know in today's age, in the situations that are going around, it's hard to help people. It really is hard, you know. And you see them struggling, you see them going through pain, you see them going through all kinds of stuff that, it wasn't their fault. And none of this crap happened because it was their fault. But with all the negativity out there, you just want to go out and give them a hug and tell them, hey, you know what? Everything is going to be okay. I do want to help, but maybe I can express here on the show. Maybe who knows? But you know what I found out a couple of times, Denise, is when you see somebody out in public and you know they're having a bad day, just go up and give them a smile. They might not talk to you, but if they give you a smile back, you did something nice. You did something nice. So what I like to do is try to at least do one good thing for somebody a day. I try to do it, and it doesn't usually work all the time. It usually backfires in my face. You know, it's like I remember one time I went up to a person. I said to them, did you just get your hair done? And they said, yeah. I said, it looks really good. And then they would come back and say, no, no, and treat me like shit. And I'm like, hey, never again. Do I blame that person for being angry at me? No, I blame the world. I blame all that negativity, all that negative spirituality that's out there in the world. Okay. A lot of it. I wonder what it would be like. What do you think, Denise? What would it be like if everybody was happy? What do you think it'd be like? I prayed that we had that for one day. And I started saying that at the beginning, over 4 years ago. I've been saying that. I keep wishing and I keep praying that for one day only, 24 hours, that there would be no wars, nobody fighting, everybody smiling, everybody helping every other people. I pray for that. I do pray for that. And I know hope and I don't know. I'm not hoping. I know deep inside myself that, one day it is going to happen. It will happen, no doubt. But and with all the tragicness, now that's something I want to bring up a little bit about mental illness, if that's okay with you guys out there. And I used to do it a long time ago, on into the night, a long time ago. But um, I have mental illness, okay, and for me, I took medication, to help me with my mental illness. And I'm not afraid to tell you that I have a lot of anxiety and I have a lot of depression. Um, but it got to the point where when I would take this medication, it really made me worse. Okay, it really made me worse. And so I, we just have to, not me, I have to accept the fact that I have this and that I'm going to have to deal with it. Denise McConnell says, one day, okay, being happy always would stop discovery and inventions, but trying to build a world where suffering is diminished is a good goal. Thank you, Denise. So, what Denise said that, if you guys just joined in, I said, I pray that one day that we have no wars, nobody angry with each other. Everything is just peaceful, hunky dory, everybody getting along with everybody else. And Denise comes back and says, one day, okay, being happy always would stop discovery and inventions, but trying to build a world where suffering is diminished is a good goal. I am 100% there with you, Denise. And I really, truly hope that happens. I really do. Um, but when something's, we'll see what happens. maybe it will happen. Maybe before I die, it will happen that there will be a place where there will be a city where you can just go in and just like, hey, no anger here. You want to live here, then you got to be happy and not fight and respect people and treat them right. All that bad stuff that's happening out there in the news today, especially what happened out in Ohio, that's crazy. Um, I really don't want to talk about it because it's real hard for me to even think about how a person can do that. What would say and they all knew the dude was bad, but they didn't try to do anything for it. If you want to know what it is, it's the dude that killed his three kids, 7, 4, and 3 in Ohio. What? And this is what I'm talking about. When I talked about it earlier, with all the evil that is out there in the world right now, with all that negativity, all that anger, okay, it's all that, and it affected that man. Probably, if I don't know him. I don't know his story. But who in the right mind, who in the right mind would want to kill their children? Why? Is it paranormal? Is it evil? Of course it's evil. Is it demonic? It is, Denise, honest to God, it is heartbreaking. Really, really hard. I can't believe it's in the news, but I don't know I forget what county in Ohio, but yeah, it is definitely heartbreaking. But who in their right mind would want to do that to a children? To their children? Come on. So, it's like all this evil that's out there. It's there, you know. Um, all I could do is just pray. But it's getting a little depressing here. Okay, I'm going to try to cheer things up a little bit. Um, whenever Doreen, how are you? How are you? Good to see you. After COVID, I think everyone has lost their minds. I agree, hon. I really do. And everybody out there in the world, my friend Doreen, beautifully, you know, beautifully. But yeah, and it's funny because I sat down and I talked to my mom about it, and and COVID screwed everything up. Oh, can't say that word. Sorry. But that thing that we went through back in 2019 screwed everything up. But I'm not going to get into conspiracies. Not tonight. I don't want to even talk about the government either. I'm just, I'm just lucky I made it through today. But that thing that hit hard with that dad did to his three children, that's not cool. And there's something definitely wrong with that. And and on that note, we're going to leave it at that. No more nastiness, no more anger. We need to have happiness. We got to have sunshine. And what happened to you today? You came in late. Nothing happened to me. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. I have. Doreen wants to know what happened to me. Tomorrow I got to go in and I have to uh, get another CT scan done on my lungs because they found two spots on them. And they need to take another scan. That was like 3 years ago, 3 months ago. I'm sorry that they took the first CT. So I'm going back tomorrow and get the second CT scan. If you have some prayers you want to offer up, that would be pretty cool. And I also found out, thank you very much, hon. Appreciate that. And also, I'm telling you, it's a crazy mess, everybody. And I'll tell you, I'm just a crazy mess. Um, I do have a real big goiter on my thyroid right now, and you can actually feel that bad boy. And it is benign from what they tell me, but the doctor did tell me that during at the end of summer that they're going to have to take it out. So I have to get that operated on to take it out. And so, yeah, that's what happened, bud. That's what happened. Thank you for asking. Appreciate that. So we got about a half hour more, and I'm going to drink a little bit more tea here. Hmm. A little bit more tea. Okay. So, as everybody knows, okay, who's out there, um, it, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, okay, and we have our own slang. Yes, me and my iced tea, hon. Yeah, definitely. Still drinking it. But people from Pittsburgh, it's crazy. We have our own slang, and honest to God, we do. Whenever we go, wherever I go somewhere else, like in another city or town, whatever, and they hear me talk, um, they just laugh at me. So since this is the first show of Into the Night with Shawn Kelly, every now and then I'll speak Pittsburghese, is what it's called, Pittsburghese. So I copied down a little bit of words that we say and what the Pittsburgh saying and what it really means. So the first word is slippy, Slippy. And the real word behind that is called slippery. Okay. So, and then here's the good one, the crick. And we spell it Crik. But the real pronunciation is creek. But in Pittsburgh, we call it the crick. And everybody knows this one from Pittsburgh. Jagoff, Jagoff. That's huge here in Pittsburgh. So if you're ever in Pittsburgh and you hear somebody come up and say, "Boy, that person's a jagoff," I'm telling you, that means because they don't like the dude for whatever he did. Basically, what that means, you're a jerk. But jagoff is a major, major word. Um, Chipped, chopped ham, okay, or Isley's. Basically, Denise, you have a heavy Yinzer accent. Don't let people knock you down. It's a good regional accent. Yesterday, I just told someone I need to read up my ha ha. Ain't that great? That's sweet, ain't it? It read up, and did they look at you strange? I say it all the time. I say it all the time. I got to go read up the house, or I got to read up my room. Yeah, Denise had read. When she means red, everybody, it means she has to clean the house. Oh yeah. So I have a heavy Yinzer accent. Oh, thank you. So everybody who ever listens to my gotta wash, yeah, wash your clothes, yes. Wash, yeah. Um, so everybody, if you want to know what people talk like in Pittsburgh, and just listen to me. Then we got a buggy, okay? And anybody out there thinks that a buggy is something to put the little baby in, but it isn't. It is a shopping cart. You got to go get the buggies to put the food in. No shit. Seriously, that's a word. Um, a sweeper. We have to go sweep the room. So go and get your sweeper. That means go and vacuum your room. We call it a sweeper. Now, here's a good one, right? They call it jumbo. Yeah, jumbo, Jumbo. And we call it, and that means bologna. Bologna. I don't know where the hell they came up with all these words, but I've been hearing them all my life, which I think is really cool. Okay, and here's a big debate. Down gun bans, yes. Downtown. Got to go downtown. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely, girl. Boring got it, downtown. But here's the biggie though. A lot of people out there, when you go anywhere, you ask for a soda. Okay, you ask for a soda. But here in Pittsburgh, you want a pop, P-O-P. So my brother kind of like covers both ends, and he says, "I want a soda pop," but we just call it pop. And I remember going to Virginia, down in Maryland, Ohio. I would ask for a pop, and people would look at me like I was crazy. Also, another thing, this is crazy too. Here in Pittsburgh, a lot we drench our French fries in gravy fries. So when I was in the Navy, I was down in South Carolina, and I was at a diner, and I got a hamburger with French fries, and I said, "Is it possible if you can put some gravy on top of them fries?" And oh my God, everyone was just like freaking out, like, "Oh my God, you want to no ketchup? You want gravy on your fries?" I said, "Yeah, I do want gravy on my fries." So I don't know if they do that any other out there in any other city or any other states or whatever, but um, yes. And of course, like what Denise said, red up, REDDUP means cleanup. So we're going to go red up the house, and then go run it over with the sweep. You know, it's, it's funny. I'm thinking about this right now, and I'm so used to saying it, and now that I'm like really pronouncing it out and actually thinking what I'm saying, it is kind of funny. I don't know what y'all think. And Doreen said a gum band, GUMBAND, is a rubber band. Um, now, uh, here's a big one here in Pittsburgh too. It's called NAT, N apostrophe AT. Oh, what try to say? Oh, down there in that, or over there in that. Everything at the end of the sentence is in that. That's huge here, you know. And it's crazy because, I'm being in Pittsburgh and just hearing that, I just understand what the hell I was saying. But when people come for a visit and we start saying down there and that, oh my God, they go crazy. They're like, quit saying that because it sounds so ridiculous. And I said, well, if you think it's ridiculous, get the hell out of Pittsburgh. Yes, ma'am. That's what I told. Uh, Dippy, Yins, Doreen, we're on the same wavelength because I was coming to that right now. About the yin. Dippy, you know how people, you know, uh, go to a diner and they order like over easy eggs, where the yolk's ready to pop out. Um, we call them dippy eggs. No lie, seriously, we call them dippy eggs. And you say dippy eggs? What are you talking about? Dippy eggs. It's like just like whenever you go and order over easy ones, they're just ready to be dipped with your freaking piece of toast. I think they're gross, man, to be honest with you. I don't like dippy eggs at all. And then Dorian came up with Worshed, WORSHED, which means wash. You washed your clothes. You washed your dishes. People out of Pittsburgh got you washed your car. You washed your dishes. It's funny. There's a kid I work with, and he's from Philadelphia. And whenever we start talking Pittsburghese, if you want to call it that, um, he just leaves the room. It's funny as hell. He just leaves. It's crazy. And then Yinzers is a native, and we're all Yinzers here in Pittsburgh, and that's what they call us. We're Yinzers, you know. Hey, Yins over there, or you know how you go down south, they say y'all this, y'all that. Well, we call hey Yins over there, or hey Yins down there. We're Yins, and it's a native or inhabitant of Pittsburgh in Western Pennsylvania, and that's where I live. So, and there's a lot more I could tell you. Kennywood is open. Whenever was Denise says, growing up, we said Yuns, yeah, but people say Yins or more now. I think it's the Gen X people, Denise, the Gen Xers that say that. Us, you know, baby boomer here, right? Um, we still say Yins, but Yuns, I meant, but yeah, people I do believe they're Gen Xers that, and I don't even want to get into that. That was crazy. Baby boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, all that stuff. It's crazy, 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 crazy. But there is so much more I could tell you about different things about Pittsburgh. We have three rivers: the Ohio. I'm sorry, the Allegheny, the Monongahela, which goes on like this, and it goes into the Ohio. Oh, really? I didn't know that. She says Philadelphians have their own accent too. Oh, I didn't know that, huh? Thanks for sharing that. I'm gonna have to ask them that when I see them at work. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh is a really lovely place to be. As you're passing through, just look at some of the sights. And I tell you, the most gorgeous. Do you see that? My background here. Let me try to move it. You see that, right? Okay. When you're coming in from the airport and you go through the Fort Pitt tunnels at night, this is Pittsburgh, our city, my city, and it is so, so gorgeous. It's pretty. We got a very pretty city. So if you ever want to come into Pittsburgh, make sure you go through the Fort Pitt tunnels at night, and when you go through the tunnel, you're going to see it, and it's just so pretty. But yeah, there's a lot of things I could tell you about. Maybe future shows down the road, I will start saying something. But I do want to say again that Sason Prophecy is no longer around anymore. Uh, our last show was last week. The Bird Forever. Exactly, Freighter. Absolutely. The Bird Forever. Hey, Freighter, me and you got to talk later on. Not tonight, maybe something, maybe tomorrow or something. I have something to talk to you about. And it's all good. But we'll talk then. Just, I'll be sending you a message tomorrow. But yeah, so maybe down the road, a couple more shows, I'll bring up a couple more interesting things about Pittsburgh. But again, I want to say that if this is the first show, and it's just going to have to start, going over again. And if you have any topics that you would like me to bring up, okay, feel free. Here again, here is my email address. I'm putting in right now. Tom.com. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so send me an email and tell me that you would like to be on my show. Or if you would like to uh, tell me what kind of topic you would like to hear on the show, that would be great too. And send me some feedback too. I'd like to know how how you think about the show and stuff like that. It's it's always good to get feedback. But there you go. There is my email, and just send me an email and whatever you want to say. If you just want to send me an email to say hello, go for it. That'd be pretty cool too. Um, but it is 9:46, and we still got a couple minutes left to go. And what I want to bring up, and I would like to bring up, June is uh, Mental Health Month for men. Okay. And what I'm going to tell you is was coming from me because I do have mental health issues. I have a lot of depression. I have a lot of anxiety. And what I'm going to tell you right now, this is all about me and nobody else. Okay. Because I don't know what your situations are and stuff like that, where you're at in your life today. So I can't really talk to you. I can't judge you or nothing like that. Right. All I could tell you is about me. Okay. I do. I did at times. I have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of depression, and a lot of things, trigger all that. Um, and I'm not asking you to do this, but if you see somebody out there who's really hurting, that something isn't right, go over there and give them a hug. If you don't want to go and give them a hug, go over and sit with them and let them talk. Go over there and sit with them and not talk at all. Because there's a lot of people, including me. Now, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I know what I have to do. But there's a lot of people out there that, it's not so much of a companion type of thing. It's more of a feeling to where, um, somebody is there for that person. Might never ever see them again. You could be in a situation where somebody pops in and they're there to help you. Okay. This happened to me many times where people come and they're there with me, helping me go through whatever I'm going through, and then they're gone. And it really bugged me a lot. It bugged me a lot that these people who were nice to me all of a sudden leave. So as time went on and it kept happening more and more and more to me, I just look at it though. They were angels sent to me for that specific reason, for that specific time, for that specific minute, just to get me through what I was going through at that moment. And there have been many angels that have come by. It's a smile. It's crazy. I'm going to tell you an angel story, and this is so true. So I'm up at the Eaton Park restaurant up there on West Liberty Avenue, and all I know is that I went in. Went in with a couple of friends of mine. We were there having a drink, and you couldn't smoke in the Eaton Park no more, so you had to go outside. And so what happened was I went outside and had a cigarette, and all of a sudden this old man came out, real old man. Never saw him before in my life. Never saw him before. And I used to hang out there all the time. Um, and he asked me, he said, can I borrow $5 so I can get a cup of coffee, something to eat? And I gave him $5. I also gave him a couple of cigarettes and we smoked a cigarette. Didn't know this guy from Adam. He went in, had his coffee, had his food, and all of a sudden he just disappeared. He disappeared. But I will tell you what happened though for me is by just not being just being me, just being caring. I had a good month. Everything worked right for me. Everything just seemed better. That and all it was $5. I mean, it could have been a buck in the field the same way, but I don't care. I got the opportunity to help an old man that I never saw in my entire life before. But he had his coffee, he had his food. And you know what? And I will take this to my grave. And I will tell you honestly that, hey, no doubt in my mind, that was an angel. So I get tested too, you know. So it just goes in one big circle. One big circle. But it's about time to close up the show. Has everybody had a good time? I did. I had a great time. It felt good to be on again, you know. I don't know where the show's going to take me. I will be honest with you. I will not always talk paranormal. I will talk whatever's on my mind. I will always try to get guests for you. You know, guests help out a lot. So if you would like to be a guest on my show, you know, go to my email, riverbird12@gmail.com, and send me an email. And then we can set something up. But we're going to see where it goes. It was so nice seeing everybody in the room tonight. It really was. Especially for the first time of the show and for the first show. It's been such a long time. And it's really crazy because I have been. Thank you, Doreen. Doreen says, you are looking good and may you be blessed. Thank you. Thank you very much. It means a lot. And Denise says, thanks, Shawn. Just happened by. Enjoyed. She enjoyed the show. Thank you for enjoying the show. And I hope to see you people up here. Doreen and Denise and, you know, Tony and other freighter, you know, hope to see you next week. But it's that time. And so what I would like everybody to do is make a person smile tomorrow. Make them smile. Or go up and say hello when they're feeling bad. Treat people with respect. And children, please, if you can, go to your parents and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. If you don't have no parents, if you have no children, again, find somebody that you can give a hug to. Okay? Give somebody you can give a hug to. And tell them, you don't have to say I love you, but just give them a hug. Those 3 words, I love you, go a very, very long way. And before I go, I got a couple minutes here. I'm going to draw an animal card. I did it last week, I think. Yeah, I did. I'm going to do it again this week. Every week after the end of the show, I draw one card. Next week, I can talk a little bit more about the medicine cards that I use. They're all animals. So what I want you to do is the card that I picked for everybody who's listening to this. I would like you to go and Google the animal and see what that animal is in your life for today. It might be for you, it might not be for you, who knows? But I just shuffle down and I'm cutting them, and I am drawing a blank. No animal. That's funny. No, I'm sorry. The otter. Oh, can we see it? The otter. That card's for everybody. Um, so just go to Google and Google otter medicine cards, which the otter's definition is, and it hopefully it's an answer that you've been seeking for today. But it's about that time I want you to hang around a little bit. I do believe my friend Trish Moe, the missing piece, she is coming on. I do believe, I think 10:15. I'm not sure, but she's a very good host. She has a very good show. So if you could, give her the courtesy, just, pop in on her show and tell her say hello. And I sent you, and you trust me, you'll enjoy the show. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And I will definitely see you next week. And on that note, happy hunting.